Hello everybody, welcome this evening. I'm glad we caught it. Steve, can we open with apologies, please?
Yeah, so we've had apologies from Rebecca as maternity leave. Gareth, unfortunately, is not feeling very well, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Pip is stuck in work, and Martin has a family thing that he needs to attend to. And unfortunately, Linda has a Swansea Council meeting that she has to attend. Okay. So that's why we're so low today.
Right, okay.
Declarations of interest is next.
I don't think so, none from me.
And,
yeah,
and then, Chair, the next item before we adjourn is the minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of December 2020.
I think they're a true record. Can I do that, Chair, or should I not do that as Chair?
Yeah, you can do it. Just ask everyone to confirm they're happy with that.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Lovely. And then you need to adjourn the meeting.
This is Sam. I'll let him introduce himself. Just to tell you, after the scrutiny meeting, Mumble Skate Park Association was contacted by two people who were very keen to work with the skate park. One of them was Sam. So I just hand over to Sam and you can just tell us all about you and take it from there.
So I work for a company called Vindico, who are a technology company that was once based in the Civic Centre, but we now currently reside in Park Scarlet. We have started a 3-year project that was to give rural air quality sensors to South Wales, because besides Cardiff, besides the city inlets, it's quite poorly monitored. And over the last 5 years, the public consciousness for air quality has just been increasing exponentially. So I was awarded a PhD funding to design and implement air quality monitors to Swansea. That snowballed after the first year, and the project became enlarged to give all of Wales rural air quality monitors. So we're halfway through that now. We have 20 monitors out in South Wales currently, and due to lockdown, North Wales has been put on hold, but that should be done in the next 6 months. So I've designed air quality monitors, which are standalone systems. You just install them on lampposts. They have solar panels. They don't have power requirements. They don't need to be fitted in or anything like that. We have an installation team that are professionally certified. So the sensors measure particulate matter, PM2.5, PM10, temperature, humidity. And this is the key substance that spews out of cars, which is why the skate park would be an ideal location to put one of these sensors, because it's next to your tertiary inlet road. And I've spoken to Mumbles in the council in the past. I can't remember who we were in touch with, but they were keen to have like monitoring on that road anyway. They know it's an issue. Tom Price has done work on it before and he knows there's exceedances there. I know he's been calling for permanent system there before. And I skate myself. I've been skateboarding for the last probably 12 years of my life. I worked in Ramp Skate Park as well. So I've had a keen interest in the developments in South Wales of like the skate parks and everything. And when I saw that there was friction in this project, I just wanted to see if there was like any way that I could chime in. And then after talking to Vindico and stuff, they were more than happy for me to build and donate a monitor. And we decided in our designs that we would donate a monitor that would bring what's called a LoRaWAN network to Mumbles, which would enable further sensors down the line and different environmental sensors to also be added to Mumbles if that was something desirable. I'm also developing, it's slightly off topic, but dog waste bin sensors, which would like ping an alert when the bins get full. I don't know how bad it is in Mumbles, but in our town we've got an awful issue with the dog poo bin waste. So that's another sensor that could be implemented if this air quality sensor was put in the skate park. And the only terms and conditions is that the skate park gets put there, really. I'd love
You're right with that.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to holding yourself back at the moment? I can't hear you.
Sorry, so many questions. I'm holding myself back. I bet Will wants to jump in there as well. So, Will, do you want to go first?
I'm happy. Ladies first. You go first. I'm no
Well, I
rush.
did have a go before the meeting started, before you got here. So I got a few questions in. Could I ask this? We are concerned about this as a community council. We're concerned about parks. We're concerned about making sure that the air quality is good around parks. There's a park, Southend Park, that's in Mumbles, close to the road, and I'm worried about that one. How much do you charge for these?
The sensors are subscription based, so we would install them, and then like there's an app. There's like behind the scenes algorithms doing like mathematical analysis, generating reports. We have air quality experts in house. So I think the going rate is 600 per sensor, but we wouldn't be charging for any of this.
Right. Okay.
This is totally donated, free. We process the data for you, and you'd have access to it. There wouldn't be any costs for this.
Okay.
Yes. We do have concerns about parks being put on the Mumbles Road for this reason. We're trying to see how hedges along there will filter, and whether we need to do something to filter the other parks to help. I don't know how much that will help. It's supposed to, but yeah, thank you.
The live walls, like the hedgerow filtering, it does work. They are. I'd be keen to work for, like, it doesn't have to stop at just a monitor in the skate park. Like we can have a look at stuff for you. It's yeah, I'm interested, to be honest. Anyway, myself.
It is. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Will?
Yeah, thanks very much. Very, very interesting. I mean, a couple of questions really. What happens with the data? The data obviously that you get, is that reported into Swansea government or Welsh government, or is it kept to yourselves? And the next question would be, if something alarming was in that data, what would the reaction have to be? Like, would it obviously, say for example, it was an unsafe place for the kids to be, I'm guessing would then have to put some measures in place. So, you know, could you potentially see that happening?
None of it's legally binding or anything. Like there's no position for anyone to like strong arm any change right now anyway, even if the levels were high. But it's like however you would want to deal with the data, we'd set that up for you. If you wanted it totally private, and like if you wanted a test first, you know, a test run, see the levels and to come up privately with solutions if it was bad, like that's how we do it. The data doesn't have to go outside of whatever group.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Sensor. Currently we have rural sensors that do all generate back to the Welsh government, and they do observe the data, but we could have this one in its own separate. It doesn't have to be part of a larger network.
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't got anything to hide by any means. I don't think that's not a worry. It's just interested in what happened to it. So, secondly, you said that you might be interested in looking at other sites. Is that also voluntarily, or is it, for example, some of our schools? You know, we've had the council. The council have obviously got a huge amount of properties they got to work through, but I know the council have looked at a couple of our primary schools. And, you know, it might be something that we want to prioritise slightly higher than, say, the county council is.
We have monitors in Ysgol y Bedol, which is in Armanford. There's another school having one put up further up the road from that as well. We've worked with Tom as well. We were outside of school like last year for him. We could set up sensors for school. I know that Vindico, the company I work for, we're looking for like bespoke projects and like giving back to the community and that anyway. So school education and school is one of our biggest targets. So I can pretty much promise that we would get involved in any school projects.
Can I say something?
Can I jump in here?
Okay.
I think it's obvious that we want to work with Sam. We were aware before this evening that the place that this should really be discussed in full is the Environment Committee, where Maddie is, and not sure where she isn't. Should we just say we're going to pass it over to Environment? You invite Sam into your next meeting. Now you both you and Will seem to think that this is a rip-roaring idea and we really should go ahead with it.
Yes.
Should we just are we wasting time here? And should he be in a meeting with Maddie and Carrie and the environment committee and start working from ground up with them? I don't know who's on that.
Yeah, there were some things that I've already brought up, oh gosh, year before last with Tom. He was interested in looking at Oystermouth School because he was concerned about the level of pollutants on Newton Road. I don't know if you know that area, Newton Road. That was a difficult one, he said.
He did that, Sarah. Sorry, he did that. He did monitor that and gave us a report on it.
Did he? I never got the report.
He didn't give any commentary on it.
We were part of the project. Yeah, Swansea Uni donated some volunteers. Yeah.
He never gave us a commentary, Sam, on it, so we weren't quite sure. Maddie's been looking at it, but she hasn't had a chance to have a proper look. So
I'm not in a position to be able to give you any commentary on anything about it.
If you had children, Pam, can I finish? Sorry. Yeah, if you had children, Sam, would you be happy for them to go to the school?
You can't ask him that.
I can.
If I,
you have to answer.
I can say that none of the schools in Wales are up to standard. I can say that I'd be more concerned as a parent over the buses and the transportation. The schools face issues from 7 in the morning till 10. After that, it's fine. And then a pickup time, it's bad again. I mean, you got how many buses crowding in one area? It's crazy. I've taken my own built monitors onto buses, public buses and school buses, the levels. That's where the concern is. That's where the concern comes from. It's not coming from the school.
No.
Is it all right with you if you get an invite to the environment meeting, meet up with Maddie and start it properly from there? Then you're not caught between two different committees where it's half year and half year. Is that all right with you? Sarah, do you think that's the way forward?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Steve, can you arrange that? Because you're the best person to arrange that.
Yeah,
can you put that on their agenda for next time, please?
Of course. And what I was going to suggest, Sarah, is that Maddie, I put Maddie and Sam in touch and they have a chat before the meeting.
Definitely.
Because I've got loads of questions. I know Pam needs to move on for the meeting tonight, but we've got hundreds of questions.
I know.
So,
yeah, that's a match made in heaven. That's fine. That's great.
You might even want to organise a special meeting if you think it's going to be lots of councillors are going to be really wanting to get involved in this. I don't know. I leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Well, I think this impinges on a lot of stuff that we do, air pollution.
Well,
it's
you
important.
talk amongst yourselves. You know more about this than I do. If you made it an open meeting, then everybody could attend. Sam came in via the Melbourne Skate Park Association, who wanted to be here tonight but can't. So thank you for getting in touch. That was brilliant. We can let you go now, but you'll get a letter of Steve, the clerk. He's the one on the bottom of my screen. I don't know if he is on yours. Inviting you to the Environment Committee next month. It won't be, I don't know when they meet. In about a fortnight's time, he'll give you a heads up for that. And then everybody on that committee knows exactly what they're talking about. And you talk to Maggie beforehand. She's our environment officer.
Guru.
Nothing she doesn't know. I think you've got the house on fire. So can we let you go, Sam? And do you understand what's going to happen next? And is that all right with you?
Yeah, if you want to meet him beforehand, just email me and we'll set it up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for getting in touch with us. It's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
And you.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Thanks very much. Well, that was a boon. Brilliant.
That was amazing.
Okay.
So shall I, for the minute, sorry, you need to re-adjourn the meeting now, Chair?
I will now re-adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. For the minute, shall I record that that Sam gave a presentation and that we're referring it on to the Environmental Wellbeing Committee?
Yeah. Will, are you on the Environments Committee? So it might be a good idea to make it an open special meeting then, or make sure that everybody's invited along to environment. People like Will can get in because they've got a real keen interest in it. I don't. I'm not up to date on this, isn't I?
And I'm sorry, Chair, and I know from talking to Sarah in the past, there's an awful lot of mothers that will be very interested in attending that.
Yeah, very.
I think that would be a sort of a public meeting almost on it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll leave that up to you to sort out then.
Especially if we are considering, paying for one outside each school, which I think.
Didn't he say they were free?
He said they were free.
He said there
Yeah,
was,
if, you know, let's ask that question, Steve, before the meeting. I suppose ask him if we can expand the project, maybe.
I think he did
Yeah,
say
if
they
they're
would
free,
be
we'll have 5.
He said they would be free for
All right.
schools.
I'll have one outside my house as well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. What a nice way to go forward. Okay,
That's
we're
great.
now on number 4.
There's updates on the skate park next.
Right. We've got pages of this. Skate park, okay. Firstly, there's lots of stuff to do, so just stop me if you want to. Firstly, the basketball court. I've asked Steve to get in touch with Kerry Davis and to put us on his list for meetings when he's able to go out and have meetings, and discuss with him whether he thinks it might be possible to have a basketball court, because we've got the big extended piece right now up to the house. We just need some advice on this. We don't know where to start. So if we could get a meeting with him, he could give us some starters, some pointers, and we can take it from there or whatever. Because at the moment we just don't know anything.
Pam, is that the one close to the skate park, or is that Underhill you're talking about?
No, the one the land that we would have the lease over next to the skate park. Just because we know nothing about it, people have suggested it. Let's get in some information, see how it goes. If we don't use it,
Yeah, that's the start, isn't it?
Is it ever worth speaking to Maverick about, you know, where it should go?
They don't do
Sorry?
basketball courts.
No, but you could have a basketball court surrounded by a skate park, and you could be skating around it like an island. It would be amazing.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You're taking the mick.
If I understood what you were talking about, I'd say yes, but I haven't a clue. Yes, well, let's just look at the options that we have, and everybody will know where we're starting from. The other people who contacted us as soon as we came through scrutiny were a water filling station. No, it wasn't. I'm lying. It was the mobile bicycle repair unit.
Oh yeah.
They wanted to put one at the skate park because they said it was joining up with other new cycle paths that are coming down Mayors Road and things like that. So they have got in touch with us, and they're asking, would we like to have one put there? That came in via, hang on, I'm using 2 books because one gave up on me. I had to buy a new book today, which I've got the receipt for, Steve. It came in from Chris at the Environment Centre, mobile bike centres. So I contacted him at the Environment Centre. He then said, oh, I'm already talking to somebody at Melbourne Community Council. So I said, is that Maddie? Yes, of course it was.
Of course it was.
So I told him and Maddie to talk to each other, which they did, and said, whatever you decide, just to let us know. They've decided that it would be a good idea to put one there. The bad news is I thought it was free, but Maddie came back this afternoon and said that they've spent all their money on allocating them where they've already decided to put them for free. So if we want one, we're going to have to pay for it, which puts a bit of a new spec on it, Steve.
Sorry, Chad. Can I just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off halfway through what you said.
No.
What I was going to just add is, just for background information, Maddie, myself and Carrie had a Zoom meeting with the Environment Centre a while ago. This is before they contacted you, and that's why Maddie knows this chap. And I know that Carrie is keen to have one of these centres, and he's looking for money amongst the Environmental Committee funds. So it may be that the Environmental Committee will pay for it. And as you say, the skate park is a brilliant place for it. So it could be a good synergy between the 2 committees.
Okay. And I'm aware that we will, until next month, we won't know what's left.
Well, can I say something which I've said in the other meeting as well, is that what we found with the skate park people, the skateboarders, they're used to taking their skateboards apart and sharing bits and redoing them. It would be good if it was a bike and skateboard centre, because they've mentioned that before, that they'd like somewhere where they could teach people to repair their skateboards.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
There was such a thing. I was talking to the clerk this morning, and he said that we don't know what money we've got left and won't until next month. When we know how much is left there, then maybe we can start thinking about.
Environment wanted to do something like that for a while, though. The guy from Ripples was full fuss about it too.
Yes, I know. But we didn't know until this afternoon, late this afternoon, 5 o'clock.
Will's been terribly patient there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I obviously didn't see you. And we didn't know until 5 o'clock this afternoon that we would have to pay for it. Until then, we thought it was free. Sorry, Will, I didn't see you.
Yeah, no rush, no, that's fine. I was just going to say that I think, you know, if you are unlucky enough to get a puncture, then, you know, even a couple of 100 meters seems quite far then. So it's almost like good to have, you know, a couple of these.
Okay.
So you might want one at Verdi's, one in the centre of Mumbles, one at Ripples, and then one at the bike park. You know, as long as they're in a place where people, you know, aren't going to damage them or try and steal them, then I think the more the better, really, because they're going to encourage. And we just don't want them too close to the path either, because you know you don't want people sitting on the prom.
No.
Bike. You know, you want them set back. So yeah, but yeah, good idea.
Okay, we'll follow that up then.
I'm sorry to express ignorance for all these meetings, but I don't know quite what it looks like. Is it like a little tiny shed or something?
It's more like a post box.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's like a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? It's like got loads of tools hanging off it and stuff like that, I think.
Okay.
Again, with the bike rack in Mumbles, we just didn't get that far. That was going to be on the following year's agenda. It never was.
Oh, right. Okay.
They've got a Facebook page. You can have a look at it on Facebook. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think it's about post box size.
Okay. So not much room then.
I don't think so. But again, we've got to take advice on where to put it. You're right there.
Okay.
We can afford
Okay.
it. Let's see if we can afford it. Then we'll start looking at where to put it.
Well, as I said, environment, we're interested in it. And I think we did. Steve will know, but I think we put some money aside in budget to help with that, didn't we, Steve?
It may have been one of the ones that got cut. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But Carrie's looking for some money left over, and you know, because with all these projects, sometimes someone makes an offer, so you like installing things free or something like that, and there's a bit of cash left. So she's hoping with you how to get the 1,200 together for it.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
The third thing is the water filling station. I talked to Dual Company Welsh Water a few months back and went through it with them. At that time, because we didn't have the SAB qualification, they didn't know where the pipes were going to be and where the drainage channels were going to be. So they said, there's no point in doing it because we don't know. Fair enough. And now we know we've got the lease. So I've asked the clerk if he would now get in touch with Welsh Water with a view to putting in a water filling station. I don't know whether we can say we'd like it here, there, or somewhere else, or whether they will say, look, the only place you can have it is in this location. So I think we've got to let the clerk get in touch with them, fill the forms in, and then see where we go from there. He seemed to be thinking, he had the plans in front of him at the time, and he said the only way that there's a juncture on the prom side of the road is between the traffic lights and the garage. So we would have to pay to run something past the garage, past the house, and all the way up to the skate park. He didn't even know how we'd start with that. Oh, his thing was, he said, I think you're going to have to go straight across the road, and that's going to cost about £2,000 to stop the traffic, mend the pipes, da-da-da. So until Steve fills in all the forms and they give him advice on that, we're going to have to wait till that happens. Sarah.
Again, Steve probably knows far more, infinitely knowledgeable, because he knows all the environmental side, where Maddie's been looking at this with the water fillers and thought that she could fit a water filler in with these people they're renting them from by just teeing off from the house, the bungalow.
No, you can't. You've got to have your own supply. They made this straight from the start. You are not allowed to go. Because I said, can we tee off that? No. That was the first thing he said. You've got to have your own supply. You've got to get across the road and join yourself. You cannot have a joint run with next door.
Oh.
It's not me saying that. It's Welsh.
No, I know. It's just, this is what they've told Maddie, the people who put in these water drinking fountains. So they seem to think that they can do that. Isn't that true, Steve, or something?
That's correct. She went on a site visit, I understand, with a company who fitted our last water one on the toilets.
I didn't know about this.
And she wanted to, and that's what they told her, obviously, but we don't know. I've done as instructed, Chair. I've contacted them and I've sent them the schematics, and I've asked for help and advice on how we could do
Brilliant.
this. So we just have to wait and see Who says what won't we to us now?
I knew nothing about Maddie and who she talked to. I knew nothing about that. I've only got the Welsh water side.
Yeah.
I think this is a time where we play ignorant and we just let them get on with it and see if they're kinder to these people than they are to us.
Go with the car.
Either way, you know, there has to be a fountain there for the amount of kids that will hopefully be using it. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chair, can I just report, I spoke to Maddie about it today, and funnily enough, she's just had something in, people offering some sort of not sponsorship, but a bit like the offer we just had on the monitoring, to install some for free or to give money towards that.
Oh,
Excellent.
brilliant.
So that may well help with, you know, our costings and so on. So she's going to be making an application for that, you know, in the next couple of days.
So should we leave this also with environment and just liaise with them and basically give it to environment to sort it out?
I think it's wiser, Pam, because we're doing
I'm
a few
fine, I
of
don't
them.
mind that at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Take that over to environment as well. Can you put that on their agenda for next time? And I'm on environment, so are you, Sarah, so we'll see both sides of it.
So you'll hear it anyway.
Is that all right, Steve?
Yeah, it seems sensible.
The grant application has gone in. It's on a 4-week cycle. If you just happen to put your grant application in just before they meet once every 4 weeks, then you're dead lucky. If you've just missed it, you've got to wait another 4 weeks until they have the next meeting and you're in the next section. So we just don't know. It's gone in. We don't know which part of the 4-week cycle they're on with their meetings or where ours will fit in with that. We've just got to wait and see. Lewis Hines has said that he thinks that he will be able to get the letters of intent done just before the end of the week. I'm not holding my breath. But that's all the thing on the skate market. So we're waiting for that. I'm just looking at my note share as we go. SCB, she said about that, Welsh Water, done that basketball. And we're going to go back, Sarah and I agreed today, we're going to go back and read every word of the planning and the arrangements we have with Maverick, and just pick up on every single thing that we have or we haven't got in hand and what we need to do about everything, and asking them for a meeting maybe mid-March when we are sure about stuff, just to make sure we've got everything sorted and absolutely everything's in place.
Steve, have we still got the tender for the skate park that Maverick gave us? Because I remember giving it back to you in the office.
The hard copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there. I haven't been in the office for
ages,
but it was there last time I've looked. Yes,
because I'm sure in that they mention that there's some of the stuff they added to it for added value that Pip would say if he was in this meeting. Was one of the things was a big notice board which warned people of the rules when they're on the skate park. So I needed to reread it and see what they had there.
And we've had emails when I wrote months ago and said, look, tell us exactly what we've paid for and what's going to be extra now. We've got emails from Sue at Maverick telling us that, so we have to dig those out as well. Clark's got those as well. So we just need to sit down and do some homework on this to get ourselves to make sure that we know everything that's going on. I think that's it on the skate park. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, can I say, can we get another meeting together saying that about Pip with the business side of things? Because he needs to reread that tender, and because he's really good at that and going, oh, and by the way, is there anything else we can throw in to help us?
Yeah.
The chair's been modest, but she instructed me to contact Pip earlier today to arrange that, which I have done. So.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I haven't got what's number 5?
It's update on Underhill. And
grant application from Underhill?
Yeah, that's right. So perhaps Will can deal with that since he's on the committee.
Will, can you help us with that? And Martin was going to, but he's not here. I think there's somebody in his family who's not very well. I know he's got aged parents, and I'm just not going to ask.
No.
So do you know about that, Will?
I do, yeah. Let me just get it up though, because refresh my memory. Where are we? Sorry, I've lost the agenda here. Where's the attachment, Steve? They're on a meeting link, weren't they? You attached them all. OneDrive problems, here we are.
Sorry, Will, I was saying yes, but I realised I was on mute. Yeah, you're quite right, it's on there.
Oh, this isn't what I was thinking it is, Steve. It's not the legal.
Clark, can you tell us what it is then, please?
Yeah, sorry, the legal has already been agreed, Will. This
Yeah,
is...
yeah, this is for the, yeah.
Sorry, you carry on.
No, you go on, you know.
My understanding is that because Mumbles Community Council are employing a monitoring surveyor
Yeah,
to protect our interests,
yeah,
Mumbles Community Association is saying they're going to have to incur
yeah.
further £1,000 of expenditure for their survey.
Liaising. Yeah, yeah,
And they're asking whether we can cover that. And,
yeah.
and you can tell the chair what the group felt about that, your joint working group.
Yeah. So in the joint working group, I have to say I'm slightly more relaxed on it. But the group.
I'm in a meeting. Sorry. Okay. I was only ready to chat. I know. 10 minutes. That was Kirsty. I deleted it twice, but she won't give up until she sees me. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, it's about the monitoring surveyor, because we are we've asked MCA to employ a monitoring surveyor. Well, sorry, we are employing one, and they saying that's going to incur cost because there's going to be liaising with our monitoring surveyor. They've attributed a £1,000 cost to it. Now, the group's feelings was that we didn't pay for it. I said, personally, I think we have asked them to do it. It isn't a cost we otherwise would have incurred. But it does seem like a very round figure, and I don't know how they've arrived at it. That's the only thing I would say. But the group as a whole, Rebecca, myself, and Martin, agreed that it wasn't something that we were happy as a whole group to fund. So, you know, because we supported the legal fees, for example, that maybe we should say on this occasion that we're not going to pay for that, because it was all, I think, Steve, your point was that this was always going to have happened anyway, and this was standard practice, so it should have been factored in from the start, really, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I happened to speak to our monitoring surveyor on another matter today, and I couldn't help mention it to him, and he was quite surprised at the fee and was going to make further inquiries, really.
Well, I think that means that we say no. Both we got advice from the group, and we got advice from the clerk, and from everybody saying no. I don't know about it, but I'm taking their advice, and it seems to be all advice. None of the advice is saying yes, it's all saying no.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they arrived at that amount, you know, and how they've sort of, you know, it's almost like, right, we think it's going to cost, with, you know, it's estimated that they're going to deal with them this much. It's going to be a nice round £1,000. I don't know. So yeah, I think everyone agrees no. So.
Okay, you're saying no, Sarah. You saying yes?
No, I'm saying I don't know enough about it. I'm out of the loop. But yeah, I think we have to be careful, because if we constantly seem to be giving money all the time to Underhill, it's kind of undermines us somewhat.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
so
the legal thing was slightly different because we asked them, you know, to change the lease.
that's fair enough.
That incurred costs. So, you know, that's totally understandable. This.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the
slightly
same problem. We're going to have to be asking for legal fees aren't we, for the skate park. It's
That's
just
a
one
bit
of those
different.
things.
Yeah, slightly different, but yeah, I know where you're coming from, but yeah, slightly different.
Okay, Clark, we've all agreed that we're going to decline that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the recommendation from the committee to full council is that MCC do not cover these expenses.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So I think recommendation. No. Okay. Number 6. That was number 6. I'm sorry. Was that number 6?
Yeah, so do you want me to read it out, or have you got your agenda? I'm not sure whether you can get your agenda up or not, Chair.
I can't get my agenda up.
No.
But I'm going on the notes that we made this morning.
Yeah, the next item is
Langland?
Langland and the Welsh tennis proposal. Shall I just quickly speak on that?
Go.
Just to remind you, we had a meeting with Rebecca before she had a baby to discuss this meeting, and it was, you all felt that having a separate meeting, because there was a lot of things to consider, other councillors from other committees might be interested, you suggested arranging another meeting, so that's what you were going to recommend tonight to the committee.
It discusses Langland and nothing else. Nothing else yet. Okay. Would you go ahead and sort that out, please?
Certainly, Chair.
Okay.
Steve, what is the agenda for that? Is it just for the gate system, or is it about a bit of everything? But the
Everything.
That's right. It's everything, because as they proposed, they said there's grants available for the great system, so should we apply? B, they talked about a proposal that they might run it for a fee and maintain it. So there's lots of things to consider, you know.
Yeah.
We have a report. Sorry. Did we have a report on that meeting with them that we could send out to people beforehand so they've got detailed information on what was said at that meeting?
Yeah, I'll make sure that goes. I'll liaise with you about the dates.
Thanks, Steve. My only concern is, as usual.
Hang on. So people are informed before we get to the meeting, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Sarah?
It's not gonna, as long as it's, I can feel Will's eyes rolling as we speak. As long as it's not going to be charged, as long as it's going to be free for people. Yeah?
Well,
Will?
that's discussion for the meeting, isn't it?
that's
discussion
for the meeting.
Tell me it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I mean, you know, I think that's definitely an option. But you know, if you're playing tennis, for example, and you want to reserve a court for a couple of hours on a certain date every day, you know, you do want to book in. It's not to say that it has to be expensive. It could be £1. It could be £1 for 4 people for an hour. But all that money does go into running the site, then, you know, and that's sinking fund.
Is this coming from the fact someone's misusing it and they're using it to do training, you know, coaching on the?
That's another thing. You know, you could stop that then, couldn't you, or at least charge for that.
Okay.
Well, we need to know running costs and know how much we've got to cover before we start thinking about how much we're charging, aren't we? Anyway,
it could be a peppercorn amount. I think that the fact is, if you can lock the courts, right, even if it's a pound, you know, £1 an hour, you know,
you can control it.
You can control it. You can control the site. You can control the hours. You can control the usage. You can monitor the usage. You know, you can stop people, you know, using it for other you know, things that it shouldn't be used for. And
there are costs incurred, like we would have to pay to have the electricity run to every single gate. So we need to have figures for everything it's going to cost.
Yeah,
before we start thinking about that.
I wouldn't think that would be too expensive, but
it won't be too expensive.
We don't know.
No,
guys,
right.
I think get it all written down and thrash it all out at the meeting, because
I don't think that will be too expensive, Pam. I think it's just to make sure that people can afford it. That's my main concern.
Well, mine is covering costs for running it in the first place. But we're having a meeting for that, and everyone can thrash it up and go. Sorry.
Yeah. To be honest, maintenance, if it's being looked after, the maintenance price is as short as it's long, isn't it? It'll probably be less maintenance long term.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
Write down your questions. You've got loads, obviously. Number 8.
Okay.
8A again. Am I all right with this? The Basketball Association of Swansea are requesting for a basketball court to temporarily be put on. Are they talking about Langland here, Steve?
They are. Yeah, they're talking about Langland.
Court 3.
Yes. Well, yes. They're just talking about Langland. They don't know the numbers of the courts and how all that's worked out. But they've just seen that we're involved and wondering whether we could have one of the courts as a basketball court. And what I suggested to you in the interim, since we've got no plans to develop for a tennis court next year, so for another 12, 15 months, that you might consider allowing them to use it with their basketball hoops and so on.
It's a brilliant idea.
Heavily used as a tennis court, guys. Heavily used as a tennis court. Still.
It could
Number
be.
3.
Yes, they're all used. Go down there and have a look before people jump to
I think
conclusions.
perhaps this
People
would
use
do-
these tennis courts. They use them. I don't know why people don't think they don't. They use them a lot. They are used a lot.
Perhaps this is an issue that needs to come up in the special meeting that we have on Langland then. Think about discussing it there at the same time, Steve?
Why not put them in on the Mumbles courts? You know, why is it
That'd be
that
great.
everyone's,
It was,
you know, that
Or both.
we've talked about a long-term solution. You know, you could easily remark the court 4 if we are lucky enough to get court 4 from Swansea Council. We can definitely have a basketball area and tennis court there, but you know, you're going to be removing people's ability to play tennis to replace it with basketball, right?
yeah, but the
Both-
sorry, Well, but the difference is there's no basketball courts in our area. There's one in Vicky Park, and it's in an awful condition. And when you play basketball, there's a lot of people playing at one go, so you get a lot of physical activity for people. Whereas tennis is just 2 people at one time.
4
So
people.
you
Mostly.
can, all right, sorry, 4 people then. But as opposed to a team, 2 teams,
How many
We've always
utilitarian way of
always talked
thinking
about
about
those
it.
being multi.
how many times a week do you think there's going to be a full team?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
the
there's other
amount of
places.
people-
Well, all right, why don't we put it in Mumbles?
I don't
I'd
see
love
what
to,
you're
but
talking
I
about.
don't think it's
Yeah.
possible.
We
Why
were
not?
talking about, Steve, we were talking about the street basketball court where 4 people play 2 on 2. Is that it? That's what we were thinking about putting there.
Oh,
Not
right,
just setting it for-
that's different. That's different. Sorry, that's different. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's one hoop at the end, then of course, you know, you could probably fit it in at the end of
You can.
one of the courts. Yeah. And it
So
could
we
be
need
used
to
It's
for-
put
lip
that-
service though, isn't it, really?
We need to put this, find out more about it beforehand, bring
There's
it up
loads
at
of
the Langland
places.
Bay. Bring it up at the Langland Bay special meeting, and everybody can put in their 5 pence and their expertise at that meeting, and we discuss it. It needs to be discussed in the round all in one place. I think so.
Okay, but we have just passed the budget to put one in Underhill Park, haven't
No,
we?
we haven't.
We have
We
got,
passed the budget to say that we will put one somewhere. We didn't say it was going in Underhill Park. The money's
We
in the
just
budget
find
to
out
put
where
one
we could put it.
somewhere. It's not allocated to Underhill Park. In the budget, it's not allocated to Underhill Park. Definitely not.
and this is why now you're obviously talking about putting it in the skate park.
No,
instead.
not at all. I didn't know anything about this until the clerk told me about it at 10 o'clock this morning. There's no back scheming. This the first I heard of this was at 10 o'clock this morning. At the meeting for Langland, I think you've all got to come prepared to talk everything through with everybody else, and for everybody to have a really rounded idea of what options could be there altogether. I've got no axe to grind with any of it. I'm very new into
Pam, who actually contacted you? The Basketball Association for Wales.
Swansea.
Oh,
Swansea Basketball Association contacted the clerk. So they're the ones who contacted the clerk and started this going.
was there a particular person? Who was the person?
I don't
who
know.
was-
Steve, can you remember?
Steve, do you know?
Yeah, I'm just opening the folder with all the documents in. Bear with me a moment.
If you could ask them how many members they've got from the Mumbles area as well, Steve, because we have to spend our precept gets raised by taxpayers in this area.
Yeah, hang on a second. Sorry, let me focus on this, otherwise I get distracted.
Didn't we do something like that, Pam, when we asked the kids in Clonderry how many kids played basketball? I really have to dig that one up.
I only heard about this morning. The Will's point has only just come up 10 minutes ago. I'm going to have to go back and look at what I've got. I really can't remember.
I'm just going to
I'm not going to start throwing things out there that I can't remember and I'm not sure what I'm talking about. I'm just going to stay strong on this. Steve?
Yeah, I'm just going to share the email. Hopefully this will work. Is that the right one? What can you see?
Gavin Williams, right.
Does that ring a bell? Does it?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thanks,
Is
Steve.
that on OneDrive, Steve?
I haven't got OneDrive. Is there
Oh,
any
God.
way you could send it to me, Steve?
Yeah, of course.
And me,
Thank
then, please.
you.
I can't get OneDrive. I used to what my computer was doing this morning.
Yeah, no problem. I can send it.
Okay.
I'll send it to you all now.
Part B of number 8 is BPS property. They are the people that Swansea City Council has given the go-ahead to try and develop the site. The agents working for CCS, building on it, are interested in what we want or would like to see on courts 4, 5, and 6. They've got the long-term lease.
Oh, that's kind of them.
I haven't stopped laughing since. Is it too late for us to send back any kind of thoughts we have? Do we garner thoughts from anywhere? What are we saying?
Basketball court.
Will's gone and we really need his input on this. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well,
No, it's not too late. The 12th is the time, the date that the proposals have to be in by. The 12th.
12th of February.
Yeah, that's when
Okay.
the agent has asked for all the developers or anyone really who with an expression of interest to reply by. I suppose it's handy for the agent, who I'm guessing will sit down with all the parties when they come in. So it's handy for him to give those ideas to the developers. I would have thought at any stage, let alone it would have been handy to give it to them earlier. What I just suggest really is that we, because it's such a short amount of time, is that we just mention a couple of things now. Steve runs them past the whole council and then just forwards them on. Yeah, but via email, I mean, because obviously there's no time for a meeting.
right. What sort of things would you suggest?
Basketball, paddle tennis, hot showers.
You say we want
Yeah,
court
that
four.
came up
Say we want court
environmental
four.
hot showers.
Better
Are we going
public,
to say we
public-
want court 4, or is it
Bet-
definitely gone?
better public sitting realm. You know, keeping court 4, yes, as a sports and rec area.
Something else, a lockers for surfers
Yeah.
to be able to put their keys
Yeah.
in safely.
Yeah,
Can we say to Steve, will he put an email out to full council saying we've got to do this? Will anybody and everybody, what's the date today? It's also the 3rd. By, well, full council's on a Tuesday. By Friday, can they send to Steve, and this will include you two especially, everything that they want to see put in the letter to Swansea City Council? He can collate it and then put it together for full council on Tuesday. Does that sound like a way forward? Then all of Will's ideas, all of your ideas, everybody have a chance to put things into it, and that would put the list. Maybe just put the list from 1 to 72 what we want from it and send it off as it is.
yeah. I think it's just a wish list of ideas, but that's all at this stage. It's all the input we can ever hope to have anyway, is just by just coming up with a couple of ideas.
Steve, are you all right with that? Sorry, Sarah, I'm talking to Steve a minute.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
You're on mute, Steve.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I was trying to catch up with some of the suggestions because you were being very rapid, saying I don't need to make a note of those anymore. I'm just going to ask you to email me with those. Is that correct?
You're asking all council to email you with ideas for what they would like to see done with courts 4, 5, and 6. And we've got to have them in by Friday for you to collate them at full council to be sent off by the 12th, that we're on a timescale here.
Yeah. I would suggest I could just ask people and send it off, because no one's really got a right to say, well, I don't want you to have a hot shower.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah.
You ought to
Okay.
suggest things that you'd like to see, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think, boxing clever now, that they'd be more likely to go with? Are we banging our heads against a brick wall if we're going to ask for, I don't know, full-size basketball court, when they'd be more likely to go for paddle tennis if they can charge for it or something?
I think at this stage again, it's about our ideas rather than what is. We don't have to think about making money on the site. We just have to think about the public and their benefits, really. So I think we just put any ideas that we've got and say, we, in a perfect world, would like you to consider putting any of these in, and just give them a huge long list.
Okay.
So full council will be asked to send everything to Steve by Friday. He doesn't have to put it before full council. He just, Anna takes the whole list and sends it off. Is that all right with you lot?
But does it make it stronger if we all decide on one thing and say, can you put this in? Or is it weaker, or you think we should give them a few alternatives? I mean, I'm just thinking if it was a long list, they go, oh, they just don't know what they want.
But bear in mind, this is expressions of interest stage, right? So when a developer is picked, at that stage, I think you're right. We would then sit down with that developer and go, right, can I see your proposal as a council? Right, can we have a bit of time to think about this? And then we feed back on that whole thing and say, look, we don't like this, we like that, we don't like this, we like that. I think, you know, whether they listen to us is another matter, but I think you're right, but I think that's the next phase, personally.
Okay, so anything, wish list at the moment. Okay.
I think so, because there's a lot of, as I understand it, there's a lot of applicants or developers, sorry, looking to put, you know, proposals forward. So I'm hoping there'll be quite a few.
Oh yeah, I read some on Facebook.
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I don't know what space they think they've got, but it's vast.
Yeah, it is quite a big site, mind, when you look at it. It is really big. It is really big.
They wanted skate park with a basketball court and this, that, and the other, and it was, it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you got the idea of the skate park around a basketball court? Was that where? Because it was something like that.
Maybe in my subconscious somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's put it together. Clark, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I was thinking the other night, it's a possible, I mean, they could, in theory, could they build a flat roof building and we could have tennis courts on the top of the roof?
Oh, wow.
Why not?
How Art Deco.
Or a basketball, or a mixture of stuff at the top, you know?
That is
possible. Being
possible.
underneath that with a basketball court on
You
top.
don't want basketballs dropping from that height. Tennis balls maybe, but basketballs, no.
They carry it over to the sea. Okay, with that, the clerk's going to put out an email to full council saying, put your ideas in by Friday. He's going to collate, he's going to send off, and that's the end of that. Yeah? Okay. I've got a number 9 down here, Steve, but I haven't got anything against it.
Road request 3 Cliffs events. Just to remind councillors, they put in an application some time ago for a festival next year, well, this year now, sorry.
Yeah.
You wanted further information. They've not replied. I've tried several times, and we agreed if they've not replied by now, that we would just take it off the agenda, and they'd have to reapply for the grant.
Okay.
I suspect, because of the situation with COVID, they've realised it's not practical to do it this year. But
right, so no.
Okay, thank you for that. Number 10 is another grant application. I've got 40k down here. It can't be 40k.
It is, Chair, and just to give you the background on that, Rebecca and I had a meeting with a chap called Steve Hardy, who's sort of leading the work on the hall, and we explained the current situation. He's given us a sort of breakdown as like a smorgasbord, if you like, of things you might want to support. The 40,000 is the total, that's what he's hoping for, but obviously we've explained to him that's not practical given the budget and so on.
Where's this to?
Are we talking about the Centurion, or are we talking about the skate hut? The
We're
scout
talking
hut?
about the Queen's Road Scout Hut, yeah.
Okay, we didn't discuss that this morning. We
Sorry,
didn't discuss
Jack.
that this morning.
Apologies. Just to remind you then that Rebecca and I met with him, and I thought what we'd said this morning was to recommend to leave it till next month, so you will know what you have left in your budget, and then you can choose
Yes.
something accordingly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, okay, thank you for that. So yes, okay, that's being left till next month when we know how much we do or we don't have. So, number 11 must be the Centurion long course weekend.
Yes, that's right, Chair.
Okay. It's a long course weekend, like a triathlon, based at Underhill Park, going through into the Sunday morning with games and things for children. They're asking for how much? 5k. They're asking for £5,000.
They're asking for 5 and they're putting in 15 themselves, it says, yeah. That's right. isn't it?
When's it for?
Don't know. In the summer. They reckon their costs are going to be £18,000 for £18,000. Going to be £18,000. 2,000 for Langley Bay lifeguards, 1,500 for medals, wages for the marshals and security, hire of Underhill, a marquee and a bouncy castle. And they say that all the money that they make above that, they want it to be the first of many, is then going to go to charities and local things. What I picked up on was they're only saying that they're going to be giving money to Oystermouth School and Newton School, no other school in Mumbles Community Council area at all, just those 2 schools. So that's something that I'm a bit worried about. In principle, I think it sounds absolutely fantastic, but
It should be all the schools
they
included.
send a business plan. It's in the application said about business plan. I haven't seen a business plan. You're on mute.
So in OneDrive, there is further
Okay.
information.
I haven't got OneDrive.
Okay, the business plan is on that. And before we give them any money, I think they've got to make it clear that we've got 7 schools in the Mumbles area, not 2. And they can't just support Oystermouth and Newton and leave all the other schools out when obviously everybody that goes into it will presumably be coming from all 4 wards.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a minor point, I think, and I'm sure that's just an oversight that anyone who
So they've got it written in 2 separate parts of the document. I double checked, I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's in one
What-
part
yeah.
and the next part is just two schools. Sorry.
Yeah, what I mean is, if a lot of people aren't actually familiar with the council's boundary, we assume everyone else is because we are, but when people say Mumbles, they think of that sort of very small populated area, don't they? So a lot of people aren't actually aware that the boundaries go all the way up to Males. So it might be something as simple as that. So let's give
They
it a
didn't say schools, they specified Oystermouth and Newton schools. They specified only 2 schools. So until we go further with this, I'd like some clarification on that.
Okay. What I'd say to this is it does look like things which are going to make the event better. Some of the things you listed out there. I'm looking at the grant here as well. It does look like that exactly what this grant is sort of for. Good to keep the local population healthy, give people something to aim for. Also people traveling down from afar, be good to fill the guest houses and what have you, and people supporting. And it's the sort of thing that if it got established, it would be I'm sure a successful yearly event. So I think this is basically seed funding a business and an event. So I think it's a good use of money myself.
I think it's a good use of money, but it isn't time. They don't have to have it this month. I would like to put it off until next month when we write to them saying, could you please explain, is it just Oystermouth and Newton School, or would you be expanded? We'd like you to expand that to include all schools, even if you do it on a rota basis, and give them the money the month after. Rather than hand the money over and then talk about it.
The other obvious question in the pandemic with an events company is, what's your what's the point? Where's the point that you're actually spending money where you can't get that back? So
Yeah, we have to be careful of that.
So that would there's a lot of questions there, Steve. I think which aren't obviously in the document.
You got that, Steve? I can see you typing.
A bit more information, basically, about if the event has to be pulled due to COVID. What are the ramifications of that on our funding and theirs, I suppose.
No, exactly. We can't be seen to be hosting stuff which could be seen as super spreader type things as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it was quite specific, if we say we'd pay for Langley Bay lifeguards, then we'd know if it didn't go ahead, then we wouldn't pay for it. If we were paying for the medals, then if it didn't go ahead, we wouldn't pay for it. But that only comes up to £3,500. If they could specify another £1,500 to bring it up to the £5,000, that if it didn't go ahead, we wouldn't lose our money on, then I think that would be easier for the council to say yes to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not averse to us taking some risk. You know, I think I'm in the events industry, as you know myself, and you know, it's a hard industry at the moment. So you know, my sort of heart goes out to event organisers, obviously being one, and you know, to have. I think we just can't be on the hook for all of it. I don't think. You know, I mean, look, we're budgeting for a White Lady Festival, aren't we? So we are still going through the process of you know, budgeting for events. So it's not like we can just shut our doors and say, right, we're not giving any money to events. But what we don't want to do is, you know, be caught on the hook for 100% of it, of £5,000, and said, right, the event's cancelled, and you know, but sorry, we spent only £5,000. So we just want to know what their plan is first, and then we'll take it from there. I wouldn't ever think that we'd, you know, get 100% of it back. That's a risk that we've got to manage ourselves. And
How much is the bouncy castle? How much is the hire of a bouncy castle for the weekend? That might very well be £1,500.
And I'm sure that, and I'm sure if you're not going to hire that, that's another thing that's not going to be paid for. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that we've got to just put forward, Steve, is that we're worried if that, for example, for any reason that the event couldn't go ahead, what happens to our money and the event and the finances
and offer that we will pay for specific things which come to £5,000, which if the event doesn't go ahead, then our money's safe. You know, they might buy the medals. Well, okay, the medals will go over till the following time. That won't be a waste of money because medals are medals and they're medals.
I take it this summer.
If we did the bouncy castle and Langland Bay lifeguards and the medals, would that count about £5,000? And we'd be quite happy to do that as long as they put the charities out for 7 schools and not 2. Sorry, go ahead.
I take it this is for this
and as
summer.
long as we don't put the date on the medal.
This is for this summer.
I think so.
I think that's a bit daft. I mean, they've cancelled Glastonbury already. I think that it's not going to be the thing, having you know, pay for us to be seen to be paying for this kind of thing this year.
If they see that in principle that we're very willing and very happy and pleased to be helping them with this, then that might say to them, they might say to themselves next year, well, okay, we're on board. They've got our support. They guarantee the £5,000 from us. That might help them with their future planning rather than.
Oh, for next year, yes.
Yes,
but
or even the autumn. I don't know.
Year.
I don't know, but the autumn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're legally allowed to put an event on though, and it's secure and safe, and you know, I'm in the same boat at the moment. We run, you know, big antique fairs, and they're the centre of industries. So, you know, if people can't pay their mortgages, we can't put events on. And that's what's happening at the moment.
Yeah,
and it's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing. If you're legally allowed to put it on with security, with safety measures in place, then you know who are we to say.
I understand what you're saying, and I know you're in a heck of a position, Will, but I think for a community council, like a council, we have to be really, really careful, don't we? We can't be seen to be, it's not about commerce with us. It's got to be bottom line. It's got to be the most sensible and careful, really cautious.
I mean, it might be worth asking Swansea Council's opinion on it, maybe.
I don't think they'll know from 1 month to the next this year.
Yeah, I mean, if they're, I don't know. Yeah,
put it together. We want to know about the schools. We're offering to pay £5,000 worth of stuff that if it doesn't go ahead, we know the money won't be spent and lost. We're very keen to support them and tell them how can they work with that. How does that sound, Clark?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think probably the first thing I might do is to ask them whether they're still putting on the event, because obviously,
true.
Requesting before Christmas, they may well have made that decision already. You know, based on.
I think they probably have.
As you say, Glastonbury have made that decision fairly recently, haven't they? You know, and that is an indicator of people.
Yeah.
Dealing with risk, isn't it? So.
Okay, then leave that with you, Clark.
You're not even allowed to cheer at the Olympics, Chair.
I'm sorry?
The Olympics are going on, but you're not allowed to cheer.
Who's that?
Seriously, what they're saying, no cheering.
And the Australian Open, the entire group is now got to go into quarantine because somebody in one of the hotels has come down with it. Bonkers. Number 11, I've simply got here, letter to go out, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I've got budget monitoring, which I think we can defer till next month again because that's the end of the quarter. So, and then I've got budget 2021-22, which was just left there for any of the committee wanted to discuss what we had and hadn't got.
Yeah.
And then it's just items for social media and website.
I think Maggie's got everything, not Maggie, Claire's got everything that she's asked for from the skate park. We've given her lots of stuff. I don't know, well, whatever, can we put anything in on Langland? I don't think so. Can we put anything, is there anything new to go forward for Underhill?
No, we're really with Underhill. We're hoping that we have the news about the borrowing approval.
Yeah.
That would be the big story that we'd hope to put in.
Well, that might just come to my
hoping to do, Chair, just so you know, is it's almost like hopefully if we get that news, the front page would be sort of like a double whammy. You know, skate park gets go ahead, Underhill gets go green light. Do you know what I mean? It would be nice to have that on the front page.
Is there any? Are there any other projects on this committee that we could put in the magazine? I don't think so. I don't think we're at the stage with anything else. The grants we can't put in because they don't know whether they're going through. We're asking questions on certain people. There's nothing fixed there we can put in on grants, is there?
Well, only on the past ones that you've already awarded. Like there's
Okay.
going to be a big thing on the football grants that we've done.
Does she have that information?
She does, yeah. So
Okay.
from your point of view, chairing tonight, yeah, from my understanding, she has everything she needs.
Fine.
Committee.
We've done our bit then. We've done our bit. Okay. Thank God we three turned up, but it'd been a complete waste of time. So you've got a load to do, I'm afraid. So the next big thing for us is the Langland meeting, getting that sorted. That's the real biggie. And Sarah, you and I have got to go right the way through the tender, the planning document, and come back and say next month what we found and what we fit in about with. Fair enough?
Yeah, in my mind, it was the big board saying the rules and the concrete seating.
Well, I'm not up to date on this. I've got to go back and read it. It's a year since I've read it, I think.
And a party, which probably will not be a thing now.
Okay. Is that it, everybody? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Clark.
Okay, bye.
Leave it up to you.
All right. Bye bye.
Check out.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.